Now let's look at the faulty lead-in writing trap. A lead-in is a couple of words at the beginning of a bullet that preface the ensuing comments, the action, impact, and result. I like to use a lead-in. Not on every bullet, but when I do, I choose to use it to categorize that bullet. That the lead-in I use will make you think of the same category. That way you have context to the words that are going to come. A faulty lead-in, let's go to the slides. Here you have a faulty lead-in hard charger. Just the lead-in alone would be at the membership level or even fluff. So the reason it's a faulty lead-in is that you've started the bullet out in a hole and you have to dig your way out. The rest of this bullet, completing the computer-based training modules, 100% current with mobility training, that's like requisite training. You have to have that to be able to do your job in the Air Force. So the bullet really doesn't even belong on someone's report. But that aside, the lead-in is not very good. Let's look at this on the performance scale. So you have a very poor lead-in and then a membership level bullet. If the two levels concept, if I didn't call that membership, I would call the whole bullet fluff because it really doesn't belong on a report. Just illustrating the faulty lead-in. As we go through a couple of slides, you see we're in the hole and the bullet wasn't very strong. But what if the bullet was stronger? That it had good management and leadership, action, impact, and result. But again, we started it in the hole. Hard charger. How about dedicated? How about awesome senior NCO? Great. All of those are just great. They place the bullet in the hole because they're ambiguous, they're intangible, and they're just superlatives, and you have to dig your way out. Looking at it, if you apply the toss concept, it makes it a bridge too far, or at least you're going to have to connect all those dots in the remaining words in that line. Now there's another kind of lead-in. I call it the inappropriate lead-in. If we look at an example of that, you have a bullet that starts off with the word leader. Okay, you've got my mind at the leadership level. But then the rest of the bullet is about washing cars for the booster club. It's almost like an oxymoron, the first two words. Leader, washed. Put it into context, leadership, membership. So it doesn't connect. That's an inappropriate use of a lead-in. And even when I see you use that, by the time I've read 4 words in that bullet, I'm wondering, you'll just say anything. Because that's such a stretch from the truth that now you lose credibility in the bullet. The person washed cars, it's good work, but it's work at the membership level. Just state it and get on with it. Another example of a faulty lead-in, fluff. Here you have hard charger. Okay, we're in the hole again. But now our action, impact, and result talk about teaching 7 classes at 3 military schools and shaping 325 junior airmen. I consider that leadership level result. What would be an appropriate lead-in? What if that said base-wide mentor? Okay, that's how I use a lead-in, because I think it's important for senior and non-commissioned officers to be mentors, to grow airmen from across the base, different organizations. They have an Air Force perspective. So I'm leading it at the front of that bullet. This airman is a base-wide mentor. It's fluff unless it gets backed up. Does teaching 7 classes at 3 different military schools in shaping and developing 325 junior enlisted, does that support the lead-in? I believe it does. So now you've prefaced the accomplishment by vectoring everyone to the category that you want them to be thinking about, and then you backed it up. So I think this is a strong example at how you use a lead-in. Before we leave, I just want you to remember, lead-ins can be an effective tool to help ensure the reader is on the same page as you so that all the words are in context. You want them speaking or thinking apples and apples. But there's a faulty lead-in where people just put some words there to take up white space on the page, but it places the bullet in a hole and you have to dig your way out. You don't want to do that. There's also an inappropriate lead-in where you say something that's just opposite or contrary to the actual action, impact, and results. You don't want to do that. You lose credibility. And finally, there's the opportunity for a strong lead-in. That's where you take the reader and you set the stage, you set the table for what's going to come, and you know they're going to be on the same page as you. And if you back it up with strong action, impact, and results, they're going to move on with the same thought as you. So avoid the faulty lead-in writing trap.